Kalosas Bricame! Hey, thank you, everyone. Boy, that was kind of tight there. Welcome to episode 45 of Cooking with Greek People. We have a jam-packed show for you today, so we hope you stick around and so you don't miss anything, because we'd feel really sad if you miss something. So stick around. First up, we will introduce you to a board member of the Hellenic Film Society USA, Konstantina Kanougris. And then our culinary guest, Frosso Hatzistavru in Thessaloniki, Greece, will show us how to make taramasalata. And then at the bottom of the hour, we will bring in live from Athens. Live from Athens!
Athens!
Not just
I want to go back.
Athens!
I know, 2 places.
Bye, Nick. Live from Athens. My son's leaving to go skiing, so I had to say goodbye. Live from Athens, we have the creators of Ancient Greece Revisited, Michael Michalidis and Adam Patrizis, and for a Filmmakers Roundtable with Konstantina.
Yes.
So, Aurora, can you tell us about our first guest?
Yeah, so she is on the board of directors of the Hellenic Film Society USA, is an active member of the New York Women in Film and TV, and is a member of the Producers Guild of America. She produces content at Radical Media for networks including Netflix, Apple TV, HBO, and PBS. Her most recent projects include HBO's critically acclaimed David Byrne's American Utopia and Sundance 2021 Grand Jury and Audience winner Summer of Souls, or When the Revolution Couldn't Be Televised. Let's all welcome Konstantina Kanougris.
Hi!
Konstantina!
Hey! This is so fun. Hey!
Hey, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. No, it's great. So you're, so we want to kind of get into some things about you, and it's kind of funny because it's kind of an International Women's Day and everything.
Yeah.
And so I've got the two of you kind of talking, and that's why I let Aurora do the introduction.
Yeah.
Although she does a better job than I do.
Excellent. Thanks, Aurora.
Hey, so so the way it's going to go is we're going to spend about 5 minutes with you because I want to get to know Konstantina a little bit. And then what we're going to do is go into the cooking part of the show for about 10, 15 minutes because they told me it's an easy recipe, but I have my tsiparu right here just in case. It's not an easy recipe.
Hey, it's 10 a.m., but no problem.
It's 10 a.m., that's right.
Hey, but it's 8 p.m. in Greece. So.
But, I do have our friends in Athens, and it's 8 p.m. in Athens.
There you go.
So technically we're fine.
I think we're okay.
Totally fine. Totally.
So let's talk about Konstantina a little bit. I'm going to put you on the big screen so we can ask you some questions. And so tell us, now you went to the University of Southern California, USC.
Yeah, USC. Yeah.
And so tell us about that. How did you get your start? Is this something that you've been thinking of since you were little? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I guess, the start really happened when I was 16 months old. My mama, she actually had me casted in a commercial. It was one of the longest running Kellogg's commercials. So it's for cornflakes. I'm at the very front of the commercial, and it's how I got my Toyota Camry from those residuals. So I did some acting when I was younger, and up until about 10, and I did just a few things here and there, and I think that is where my love for just all things production started. And while I enjoyed being in front of the camera, I was so young, it kind of helped me come out of my shell. I did some improv classes. And then from there, it really kind of turned into being more interested being behind the camera as I got a little older. I went to Capistrano Valley High School here in South Orange County. And I really do credit almost everything to my film teacher, Mr. Landino. He's the one who really got me interested in all things film, including, the history behind it, the technology behind it, its origins, and also the creative side. So when I was in high school, I was able to be a part of a film program called Film Ed Academy, ran by David Junker. And so a combination of just having this wonderful resource to film here in South Orange County, close to LA, but just having all of those resources to me at a young age is really how I became interested in the craft of filmmaking. So I was in that class, film class, for a couple of years. I did the film program. And from there, I was doing a lot of broadcasting. So that interest in broadcasting turned into an interest of broadcast journalism, turned in actually to an interest in publicity. I was interested in all facets of entertainment. And eventually it turned into going to USC, studying public relations and film. And so from there,
can you stop there just for a second? Because our audience is about 40% of it is in Greece, and in another 10% is in Australia. So they may not know what USC is, but I just want to. USC is really the premier film school in the United States. I think they've gotten big donations from Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, and I think they pretty much upgraded that school into what it is today, which is just I think it's always been a world-class kind of academy for filmmakers, but it's just gone so much more.
Yeah. So University of Southern California. I'm very fortunate to have gone there. I did get my major in public relations, but in my minor of cinematic arts, I was very involved in the film school. I was a teaching assistant for 2 years to a master's class, the business of motion picture studio. And I was also a teaching assistant for a broadcast class. And I do credit that experience, getting that education, to a lot of, what I've been able to do now. I did a lot of internships. When I interned, I made sure to intern at a couple of different places, starting with agencies, talent agencies, all the way to development at Focus Features, and talent management as well. And it gave me a wide breadth of, what the business is. And I think it's very important to understand the entertainment business as a whole. So I had a well-rounded experience, and I could go on to what I did after college, but if, Theo Bobby, I don't know if you want to touch on anything else first, before I keep going.
What I want to do is, what we're going to do is go over to the cooking part of the show.
Okay.
Because I wanted people to get to know you a little bit. Yeah. And then after the cooking part, I want to talk about the Hellenic Film Society, and I want to talk to you about what it's like to be part of the Producers Guild. I want to talk to you about everything.
You do so much. It's incredible.
You really you're so young and you do so much. It's crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in Froso, our culinary guest today. Woo! And we're also going to bring in the food. And Froso, thank you so much for joining us. And we'd like to thank your lovely assistant, George, for also joining us.
You're welcome.
and let's see if I can kind of get us in a spot where maybe we can talk about the food. So I think I have everything set up, Froso. From the only problem I had, I wasn't able to get enough of the roe. So we're going to do it about 50%, okay?
Okay.
So to caviar, or not caviar, whatever it's called. Oh wait, let's see. We have some comments here.
Oh.
From Sophia Canubris. And then
language, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Which is extra cool. So thank you guys.
We're getting people commenting, but
cool. I don't want to butcher the names.
So we'll show a couple more. Hey, we want to thank you for coming here and helping us. This is going to be terrific. And I can't remember. Let's see. I just want to get one more person on there. And thank you for joining us, everybody. So I'm going to go into the kitchen right now, and we're going to work with Froso, and Aurora's going to stay here and and take care of the control booth.
Yeah.
All right. I may need some.
Oh,
I think I may need some Tsuburo.
No.
So just a little bit.
Could you pour
Because
some
whenever
in my
Froso does, does such interesting cooking, I'm a little scared. You frighten me, Froso.
You're just too good.
You're too good at this.
Woo!
Okay, I'm ready. All right. All right, there you go. Bye, Nick.
I think he's saying goodbye to Nick.
Froso, is teramo salata your favorite dip, or were you craving it today, or?
Yes.
I love teramo salata.
It's good,
All right. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
but it's not light.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay, great.
Someone said that they can't see the ingredients, so we have the ingredients listed on our Facebook page and our Instagram page. So look out for that at Cooking with Greek People.
Right, and the ingredients are right here. So we'll go over them. So, Rosso, here's what I've got. Okay? And
Okay.
so
So
I only have
It's
about
okay.
2 ounces of the terama,
Okay.
so I don't have a lot. But I have lemon juice for my lemon tree.
Wow.
I have some parsley.
Cool.
I have some olives I've diced up.
Great.
I have some onions. I have half an onion.
Great.
And I've got the bread.
Okay.
Okay, so I went with half, but yes.
So now you will soak the bread with water.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to start putting the bread in here. There's just some water. See if I can move it a little bit closer
Yes.
so everybody can see. And I'm just going to put the bread in there.
Okay. Yes.
How about that? I think I need to put some more water in there.
Yes.
Okay, so the bread
Okay.
is soaking.
Okay. So you can leave the bread to soak and put the onion in the food processor to make it smooth and
Okay.
Yep.
So here's the food processor. I'm going to try not to break anything here. So I'm putting the onions in. So if you're following at home, you can see the onions are going in the food processor. All right. Let's see. If anybody enjoys the sound of a food processor, I'm going to have to...
I'm going to mute you.
I'm going to say...
Such
you're
a
out of
pity. It's
luck.
a great
Okay,
music.
Here we go. Okay.
okay.
I got you.
Okay, got me? Okay, cool. Okay. So I think this is kind of the consistency. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes, it is okay.
Okay. The cat is crying. So now she's outside. Okay. So
So now, yeah.
Okay.
So now we have to drain the bread
Okay, and I drain it in a cloth?
in a cloth. So yes,
Okay.
so the water is off completely.
All right. So I have my cloth. Okay, I'm putting it down here in the sink so you guys can't really see that. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this into a cloth that I have in a clean sink. And then I strain the water out, I take it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right, so it's been strained.
Okay.
You have it there.
So now I think it's better to use the half of the bread.
Uh-huh.
Because
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the food processor probably will not fit everything.
Oh, okay. So I'll put half the bread in there.
And then we'll see.
We'll do 2 batches or something.
yeah, okay.
All right.
And
So now I put this back in. What do you think, Constantina? You think I'll be able to pull this off?
I think you can do it.
All right. Don't tell your mom how horrible I'm at this, okay? All right.
There it goes.
All right, let me just do a little bit more here.
Rosa, do you ever use like a blender, like a smoothie blender as a food processor?
yes,
Okay. Sometimes I do that because I need more room in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should get a bigger one.
No, I think that for this case, it wouldn't help
Okay.
Yeah.
because the bread is too thick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the beamer, we call it beamer. It's better when you want to create a sauce or something that it's liquid enough.
Right, right,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of blender it is, Baba, when you get a chance. Or food processor.
It looks like it's doing a good job.
Aurora, what do you think? How does this look? So should I put this in another mixing bowl?
is there any place to put the tarama in there and the
Oh
and the
yeah,
olive
there
oil?
is. Yeah, it's got a little.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to put the tarama in there.
Yes, the olive oil and the juice of the lemons.
Yeah, maybe not. I think I'm going to have to take a little bit out.
Yeah.
Just take a little bit out, and then I'll put it back in later.
Hmm.
It'll be okay.
Theo, where were you able to buy the tarama?
You know, I had to get it online, but I was just thinking, it didn't occur to me that in Laguna Niguel,
Mm-hmm.
there was some that was made in Greece that I think is more appropriate for this, that just would not have arrived in time.
Right.
But right now, I'm trying to do some dishes. People have been asking for vegetarian, vegan, some dishes like that. And but we have on March 28th, because Lent will be ongoing by then, we'll be celebrating Greece's 200th year of independence. It's bicentennial. So we're going to have a party here to celebrate it, and we're going to be online to raise money. So I thought maybe I could learn some dishes that I could make part of that show, and I think this is going to be one of them that could be part of that show. So that's kind of what I've been trying to do here. And okay, so I'm adding the lemon juice. Do I add the olive as well?
The olive oil.
The
Olive oil.
Okay. So I'm going to just spin that up a little bit again. Okay, let's see. Where are we at now? The parsley. Do I put the parsley in?
The parsley is for the plate after. It's for decor.
And I've diced up some olives as well.
Yes.
Do I put those in?
No, they are also for decoration.
The garnish. Okay.
Yes. You can put some. You can transport everything in a bowl now, and you can
use a spatula.
Use a spatula or a big to.
You know what? I got a nice glass bowl to put it in. I think I'm going to put it in there.
And add also some more oil and some more salt to the taste.
Okay. Let me, I have some more that I just kind of want to put in there and mix up too, that I had to take out. Let me just do that real quick too. And then I'll take it outside and we can try some. So I'll just put, sorry, I got to get a bigger food processor. Or,
Baba, do you know what kind the one that we're using is?
The
food processor.
Oh,
someone was asking.
Cuisinart, but I have a bigger. I have two of them, but they're both about the same size, and I want to get like one of those bigger ones. We've had some chefs on the show that kind of have been helping me out, telling me what to buy, and so I got something to mix bread with that makes things a lot easier. A mixer, electric mixer. I'm going to just spin the. Right. I think that's it. Now I can here. All right, so when I put this in the bowl, do I mix in those olives or do I just put them on top as a garnish?
As a garnish.
Okay, so I'm
You
just
can
going to put it.
you can taste it and see if you would like to be more salty.
Okay, let's see.
But I think you need to add some more olive oil and salt to taste.
Okay, I think you're right. And need a new spoon. Okay, so I'm mixing it up with some more olive oil and some more salt. Come in.
Thea Sophia says, next time I'm bringing you my big KitchenAid and or Cuisinart for this big job.
Okay, thank you. Well, hopefully, so Sophia, we're going to do a fitness episode next week, and we'll be announcing our guests. But one of them is going to be Sophia, who's a fitness instructor here, and the other one is Haris from Greece. He's in the Greek Air Force, and he is in the band. But he's also a fitness person. And he has a fitness cooking show that he does with music because he's also a musician. So it'll be kind of interesting. So we'll get a take of what does fitness look like in Greece and what does it look like here in the U.S. So I think it'll be a fun show. And that'll be next week.
And what are we gonna cook? Ice cube?
Oh, I'm going to let Sophia figure that out. Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so good. All right. So now we just put some garnishes on it.
You have to mix it. Oh,
And
can
mix
put
this.
it-
okay, yes.
You have already mixed it.
Okay,
So to put some garnish on it.
yes, if you like.
Okay, I'm put some garnish on it. And so I guess the olives, I should use the ones with the pit and put a couple of the olives in it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you move the food processor, we could see the bowl a little better.
Oh, you're right. Food. See, this is why I need a production expert.
Yes. Oh, great.
Looks great.
There you
Yeah.
Oh, that looks
I'm
good.
excited to eat that.
go.
Very
There
nice.
we go. So, all right. So I'm going to take this outside. I'm going to bring some bread with me. Oh, by the way, we made bread this morning.
Wow.
Good.
So
We also make bread every
they
2
made
minutes
bread
a
this
day.
morning.
Wow.
So I'm going to bring some bread out and also bring some dry bread out. So give me a moment and I will put some things on a plate. And we will bring it out. Maybe not that plate. Okay, maybe that one. All right. Where did all the dry bread go? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to put some. So I think this would go good with pita or some dry bread or crackers. Really anything.
Yes.
Then I'm going to cut some bread too.
Well, so I was going to ask, does everyone in Greece have Thalas for salt? Is there any other brand?
Oh, yes, of course.
What are the other brands? Now I'm curious.
See, I try to stick
question.
with Greek stuff.
Best.
Where's my Mary? I have some. Yeah, so whenever possible, I try to use. If we're in Crete, I try to use olive oil from Crete, or if we're in Kalamata olives, and Let's try to kind of stick with the things that are regional. Okay. So, all right, Aurora, would you mind muting me?
Yep.
So Achillea said that they have Ira salt, HRA, Ira?
Ira.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one's better?
Well,
I don't know.
it's salt.
It's salt. It's salt.
We usually prefer to get the thick grain salt,
Right.
and we powder that in the same way that you do the pepper
Yeah.
In the grinder.
in the grinder.
Oh, with the grinder.
Another.
You know, this looks like it'd be really good with siparu.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
I think
Exactly.
everything at this point probably.
I know. You know, it's like, well, look, we're going to give this a try right now.
Yes.
We'll just go. Oh, I forgot napkins.
Oh, we're fine. We're not that
fine.
messy.
All right, here we go. Okay, this is it. We're going to go big screen on this. All right, here we go. Oh my God, that's so good.
So good.
Yes, Athena Wilson. I have Tsiparu, my favorite supermodel, right there.
Nina.
Wow, that's good. Okay,
And no colors.
we have to have Athena Wilson on the show.
I know.
too.
I was thinking we've had pretty much the whole family. So.
I know. Okay,
Melina says Yamas.
Yamas Melina, thank you for joining us. Well, Froso, thank you so much for such a wonderful dish.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
Delicious as
Thank you,
always.
Rosa.
Everything you make is so good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll, you're going to be on the show with us on March 28th during our Greek Independence Day celebration. So we'll see you then, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you too.
Okay. Bye-bye now. This was
Bye.
delicious.
Right?
So good.
John's gonna love this.
I know. My mother's just going to love it. So, what I want to do next is bring on two. I know I wrote it so tiny this time. What I like to do is bring on
Back to the show.
Yes, back to the show. I'm going to bring on. This is my favorite YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why they responded to me.
I know. We were like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh! Ancient Greece Revisited responded to me. You know how excited I was.
Yeah. You were like, oh my god, everybody
I
loves.
know. And so we're lucky enough today to have the two creators of that show with us, Michael Michailidis and Adam Petritsis. And Adam, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but I can't even say your real first name, Adam, so I apologize. And hey, welcome to the show, you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Hello, good to see you again.
And let me introduce you to Konstantina Kanougras.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I love
So-
the show.
So Michael and Adam do this beautiful show called Ancient Greece Revisited, and they also do a radio show as well called On Tyranny. And so I want to talk about the radio show kind of towards the end of the program, but what I want to do right now is talk about filmmaking in Greece, and I kind of, or just filmmaking in general. But I wanted to start off with Konstantina because I wanted Konstantina to tell us how the Hellenic Film Society kind of interacts with Greek filmmakers, and then I want to go to you guys and maybe start like a roundtable discussion about what we do. So, Konstantina, do you want to tell us about the Hellenic Film Society and what you guys do and what is your mission and goals and how you got involved?
of course. So the Hellenic Film Society USA, it's an organization that it really is international. I mean, it started in New York City, and it's of course expanded to Greece. It's well known in Greece too, because our whole mission is to promote Greek filmmaking and Greek films. So it's the mission is to have Greek films known in the States by, not just Greek filmmakers, also Greek American filmmakers, but to really preserve our culture and heritage through film and make sure that Greek Americans too are aware of all the amazing filmmaking that takes place in Greece. So I got involved. I mean, I've always known of the Hellenic Film Society. I was living in New York City for 4 years. And so I'd go to their events, and I know some people on the board. And I joined this January on the board of directors, and it's been so wonderful to be involved with it because, we were able to still exist virtually. And each month we are showing 2 Greek films, and we have an upcoming event to celebrate the 200-year anniversary of Greek independence, which is really exciting. I could go on about the event, but that's the Hellenic Film Society in a nutshell. And I everyone on the team is just so incredible. Jimmy Demetro is a professor and scholar and just a wonderful man, president of the board. Everyone on the board is just awesome. So I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I know you as part of Radical Media, you've done some pretty fantastic stuff with David Byrne and with, and I guess it was a Spike Lee film you worked on, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I work at Radical Media. I'm the production supervisor there. We're a production company that is based in New York City, but it has offices globally and including LA. And I've been with them for 3 years. They're a fantastic company. And it's really neat because being a production supervisor, I get to oversee all of our projects, and they all vary in range. So we do mostly documentary filmmaking, which is why I'm so excited to talk with you guys, Michael and Adam. So most recently, the David Byrne project was HBO's American Utopia, David Byrne's American Utopia. And it's really cool because it's about the live Broadway show that was in New York City, and it did shut down because of the pandemic, but we were fortunate enough to capture it before it shut down. And it's an incredible production that Spike directed. David Byrne, of course, produced being at his show, and there's just an incredible team. What's neat is that even though I wasn't part of the direct production staff, we had Alex Sash, a supervising producer. My boss, Meredith Bennett, was the EP on it, so I really was able to get an inside look. And it's just neat. It did very well and is an impactful show. And then the other more recent project is Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Couldn't Be Televised. And it's just incredible how somehow in documentary filmmaking, you're able to kind of be on the pulse of things. And just with everything that's gone on in the world, for that movie to have aired when it did in January at Sundance, it is just so meaningful and moving, and the music is phenomenal. The message is phenomenal. And I feel fortunate that I can be involved. I'm on the production management side, but that's really where, that's how you make things happen. So it's been really neat to be at a production company like Radical. So, yeah. Well,
that's fantastic. Let me take it over to Greece now, because I want to talk to Michael and Adam, and there's, I want to start off, let me tell you, Michael, where I want to start off, but then I want to start off with what is it like to be to make the kind of production that you make now in Greece? But I also want to go into Adam, because you and Konstantina have something in common, which is you're both working on a Greek bicentennial project for the 200th anniversary of Greece. So I want to talk about that. But first I want to start off with Michael, because I know I see your productions. And by the way, the one you did on Ares, oh my God, that hit home.
Oh, yeah.
And so tell us about that.
Yeah, so you're referring to our last episode called Ares, Terrible Love of War, which is recounting the myth of Ares, the myth of Ares and his love affair with Aphrodite, which is one of the myths that perhaps hasn't gotten enough coverage. So we thought would fill that gap. And it's a wonderful myth because, and I try to connect it with a lot of discussions that are happening perhaps at the fringes of the internet, whereby Ares Aphrodite is a very typical beautiful girl falls in love with a bad boy type on the surface, and behind the surface these two, they represent two even stronger identities, transcendent perhaps identities. One is war, destruction in its most barbaric form as well, because as I mentioned in the episode, the Greeks had another war god who was Athena, was a feminine representation of war, and it was the more sophisticated, strategic, noble kind of war. Athena was the goddess of heroes, the protector of heroes. And Ares was yet another war god, but he represented the more barbaric, brutal, clumsy kind of way of war, which is why in the Iliad he always kind of comes out the loser, which is very interesting because the Iliad is a war epic, and in a war epic you have a war god who loses in war, but it makes perfect sense. He is exactly that aspect of war that you might say always losing. It's the typical, in a war both sides lose in a certain aspect, and that's the Ares aspect, where there's the just blind rage, destruction, and there is nobility in war, but that was transferred by the Greeks to another god, which was very interesting. And yet it's that barbaric god who is presented as Aphrodite's lover, Aphrodite being in love with Ares. So, I found it a fascinating image, and we thought we'd do something about it. And I think that we also touched kind of, again, a bit on the fringes of what's allowed, because, again, like I say in this episode, we live in a very pacifist culture that just, sees nothing but stupidity in war. Yet first eyewitnesses from soldiers who have witnessed war have these very beautiful descriptions of destruction. And I quoted some, and in this episode, we're all about just confronting it, just before we even pass judgment, confront the phenomenon as it appears before we interpret it. And people, I think today, they just rush to interpret it before they even allow it to breathe, to manifest in its own right. So that's the last episode.
I don't want to give anything away on that because
everybody go watch it.
Everybody go watch it, because I got to tell you, there's a twist to it that I never knew about, and I really thought I knew everything.
I thought so too, Baba.
Yeah. It's like I thought, oh my God, but there's a beautiful twist to it. But just kind of on the topic of war, Adam, you've been working on a project. I want to talk a little bit about the bicentennial and your representation of it, and maybe how does that manifest? There's a different view. There's almost a nostalgic sense here in the United States because our children are taught poems. They dress up as tsolias. I don't know if that still happens in Greece or not, but here you can't, if you've grown up in Greece, or if you grew up as a Greek in America, there is no way you haven't dressed up as a tsolias at least once in your life, and you haven't learned a poem or the Greek national anthem. It's just impossible to escape. But there's this nostalgia about Greece in that time. And I just wanted your take on it. How do Greeks look at it, Adam? And what did you learn from making that show?
Okay, a lot of questions. So let's take it one. I think, in my opinion, at the moment in Greece, the Greek Revolution of 1821 is kind of out of fashion. So not many people are interested in it anymore. At least it's what the general essence I take from the people. Anyway, this year is a good chance to remember all the things that happened 200 years ago. It's a topic that, you know, many historians have digged into it. We learned about it in school. We didn't learn, however, everything that comes with the Greek Revolution. We know too little about it. In the show that we are doing now, it's 13 episodes, a documentary series on the Greek National TV. And there are about 50 to 60 professors that are talking in the whole 13 episodes. So there's a lot of knowledge that comes with it. So there's a lot to learn, new things that we have forgotten from when we were back in school, things that we've never heard of, things that actually don't go in line with some of the things we thought we knew. So it's a very big subject and very important subject for modern Greece. It's the beginning of the modern nation that we call now Greece. So there is a lot that we still need to learn, and we have to go back and learn what happened at that time. Because if we see all the history from these 200 years, from back in 1821 until now, we will see that the history repeats itself through and through and through and through. And what we live now has been already lived 100 years ago, 150 years ago, 50 years ago, depending on which thing we look at.
Was there something that you learned that maybe changed the way you looked at something?
I don't have something specific to say about it, but we have, in my opinion, we have to look at the events from a third point of view, not from the Greek point of view or from the Ottoman Turkish point of view. We have to look at it objectively. Objectively, yeah. Objectively, or wait.
Yeah, no.
Objectively, yes, you got it. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. So is now this show is currently running on ERT?
No, it will run. It will. The first episode will air on the 25th of March, which is
perfect, right on the day.
Yeah, and then it will be once every week on Saturday night.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it. No, that's fantastic. And Konstantina, when you at the Hellenic Film Society are working on something similar, right? And when will that come out? And what is its impact?
Yeah, so we have a celebration of Greek history through film. It's coming out March 19th. So this coming Friday is the start of the event. It's going to be March 19th through the 28th. We have 8 selections, films, and also the pilot episode of Blood of Zeus, the hit Netflix series. And so there's 8 selections. Each film has a tied-in interview with the filmmakers, which is really neat. The films that we're showing are, so there's Blood of Zeus, which is one of the episodes, the pilot episode, 300, Cliffs of Freedom, God Loves Caviar, America, America, Elia Kazan's film, Beneath the Olive Tree, and then documentary Searching for Andreas and The Road to Sparta. So 3 docs, 4 movies, and 1 TV episode. So, and they all kind of, even in the order I said it, I think it all, is literally the start of Greek history as we know it, Greek mythology, all the way up until modern times with The Road to Sparta. So we're really excited about it. Tickets are going to be going on sale very soon. And it's just a beautiful thing. There's so many amazing things about our culture, but to have it documented through film, I feel like we're just so lucky to have even filmmakers like you, Michael, and Adam, who are sharing the history of Greece in such a beautiful way. So, it's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, that's the event.
Thank you very much.
That's fantastic. And you guys take submissions for your film, for the films that you include, right? Okay.
Yes.
Great.
If you go to our website, you'll see the admission email. We absolutely take submissions from Greek filmmakers, Greek American filmmakers, and love to collaborate. So,
yeah, that's great. And Michael, tell me, because you seem to be generating so many wonderful ideas. I know you and Adam collaborate. The two of you are just generating so many wonderful ideas. What is there a great deal of difficulty in putting these onto, I want to say, a media? Because right now, I see your work on YouTube, but it feels so theatrical. It doesn't feel like I'm watching YouTube. In fact, I wish I was seeing it. I have a 70-inch TV and it's it's 4K and all, but it's the sort of thing I'd love to see at a film festivals or on a big screen where you can experience it with people, because there's one part in the Ares portion that just kind of took me aback. It just left me, oh my God! I know, Constantina, you watched some of the shows, the Jason shows. Did you watch the Ares show?
I didn't see the Ares. I saw Jason and the Argonauts, and I also watched If the Ancient Greeks Were Colorblind.
I love that.
I love that one. But I agree with you, Theo Bobby, in that it is just incredible to see the amount of research and archival material and how it weaves into your show. Even just, I think it was the Jason and the Argonauts episode, but just your set. You have just the simple set, but then in the background you'll have the visuals and the graphics come in, and it does feel like you're in almost a theater of sorts. It is very cinematic and very well crafted, with the amount of research and how you also. I did want to ask if you use any kind of teleprompter, how you memorize. I don't know if you have even a script, but when you're talking, it's very poetic, and very well done. So I'm just curious, how do you say your lines?
Yeah, so everything is written down beforehand. I write the entire episode down, and yes, I hate to disappoint, but yes, we do use a teleprompter.
Sorry.
I thought of keeping the mystery, but I'll tell you what. Because it's the first time that I've done it, so I am getting better. And there is, if you go to our channel, there is an introductory video. So the video that you get just under the banner, sometimes starts playing on its own, which is quite annoying, or I think it has something to do with the browser settings, whether it starts playing, but it's the video there, and that is not from a teleprompter, and I kind of memorized the whole thing. It's much shorter. I think it's about 2 minutes. Again, I wrote it down. We wanted to have it. Something happened, I think, and we could write at them. We brought we forgot the teleprompter. But the idea was to have the teleprompter, but we didn't. And I memorized it. It was my writing, but I memorized it and I said it. So yes, we use the teleprompter, but it feels that I'm at a point where it's not too, it's not unimaginable that I could be saying it.
Because the difference is he's not an actor or a presenter who receives a document that he reads it. He has written it. He has done all the research on it. So it's like it's his, basically. So it's not the first time he sees it or the second time. It's his baby, so he knows what to do and what and how to play.
Yeah, but you know, the more you do something, the better it is. And just to answer your question as well, Bob, about you know the difficulties and that, I it's not too long ago that I began to write the Ancient Greece Revisited and write in general, I guess. So you know, a year, I guess, half a year before I met Adam and we actually began on the show, where I was doing a lot of my writing. And I would write, let's say, an episode. I'd write it, I'd leave it, you know, sleep on it, as we say, wake up the next day, read it again, and it would be perfect. I would say, this is amazing. Now, if I were to read it now, I would be like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I can't even understand what's going on. You know, too long, too complicated, too many references, jumping through tangents. It's fine. You know, I'm glad I took that time, and you're seeing the episodes that you're loving rather than these other episodes. But perhaps I wouldn't be here invited. Who knows? And so it's fine. But it's amazing how back not too long I didn't have the eyes to see it, and now I have. You know, a year and a half, maybe let's say 2 years ago, and I could not see how this episode was not good for a show. I could not see it. I would read it again 2, 3, 4, 5 days later, and it would look perfect. I would say that's you know that it's a box office hit. And now I'm like, what was I thinking? You know, so my main difficulty is getting concise, getting one message across as simple as possible, not run off on too many tangents, not assume that the listener, the audience knows much, you know, before I would say, I don't know, in the Iliad. Now I know that some people don't know what is the Iliad because we grew up in Greece. We do some of these things at school. Even, you know, the worst, let's say, students among us, they know these names. They have no problem understanding what the Iliad is, what it meant for the ancient Greeks, roughly what it was about. Even the very, very basically educated people in Greece would know that. So I kind of took that for granted, which was wrong. So now I'm improving on that. I'm always trying to explain, even if it's a word, the Iliad, comma, Homer's first epic, the Bible, as I say, the equivalent of the Bible for ancient Greeks. And then I'm going to continue. And I don't think we've got it perfect. I think we still need to, perhaps me much more than Adam, focus, simplify, make it more understandable. That's my challenge.
I think that's the sort of thing that almost COVID lets you do. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it lets you stay home and kind of work this out through your own head and just kind of get better and better at it. Because I'm trying to find a bright side to this freaking mess. Okay, so with the bright side that I'm getting at is that I get to do this show. I would have never even dreamed of doing a show like this if it wasn't for it. And you know, we get to be a little bit more creative than what maybe we just wouldn't have the time to be this creative. And you and Jesus, Adam, you guys and Constantina and Michael, you guys are a completely different level than I am. But even the little bits and pieces that I can do, I know that it's no longer interesting to me to get together with friends at a restaurant that only has 25% capacity. That's just not it. You know, it's like I'd rather just have people over at my house.
It's better than 0%.
Yeah. And you know, one of the things that I'm having trouble with now is because it's about keeping restaurants engaged. It's difficult to get restaurants to come on the show because although, you know, I tell them, look, you don't have to be at the restaurant. You can just be at your home or whatever. They are just too freaking depressed to do that.
And restaurant culture is a big part of Greek culture, I guess. Abroad, Greeks were very well known for owning restaurants and owning these kind of family-oriented restaurants where everyone knows each other, and the owner comes out with his wife, and they have a special treat for once every. And it's these restaurants, unfortunately, that are hit the most, because the big chains can always put these mass programs in line where they're just going to send out an email from central headquarters, and half the tables are going to be removed from every single branch, and then they're going to take the hit because they're a big corporation. So
they're going to be okay, and they have representation in government, because the big restaurants are able to get governments to move the way they want, but the small family ones just don't. And kind of put in perspective, every Thursday I could go to my local Greek restaurant and listen to bouzouki music.
Taste of Greece, anyone?
Taste of Greece in Laguna Niguel. There you go. There's a shout out. Taste of Greece in Laguna Niguel, and my kids could dance, and we could have some fun, and so now if I can't do that, I really don't. I'd rather just have people at my house, and during this pandemic, because of the cooking that we do, in the summertime at least, we had maybe 15 people at the house almost every Saturday during the summer to eat the food that we would cook on the show.
Or else I just eat it all. So you're Adam. Because you were able to work on the show, did the production companies open up enough for you to be able to do this kind of work on the bicentennial of Greece's independence?
That was a big problem here, because everything is closed. All the museums are closed. Everything that has to do with public sector is closed, basically, more or less.
Yeah.
So we had to do special arrangements for all these things to happen, and we certainly didn't have enough time as well to do it, and we didn't have all the we couldn't take all the content that we wanted to use. But apart from that, we managed to do, I think, due to the circumstances, a very good job.
Oh, good! I can't wait to see it. I just can't wait to see it.
Coming back to the restaurant business thing, the worst part from when we were traveling in the Peloponnese, in continental Greece, for shooting. After shooting, there was nowhere to go.
Wow.
There was no place to go and eat. We had to go back to the hotel and order delivery every day, souvlaki or pizza. And,
oh my God!
And the best part of filming is after filming, going to the tavern and having the get around and having a few drinks, a few beers, and relax, basically. So that all was gone.
Oh.
Well, Constantina has been living in New York, so New York was very hard hit by all this. Mm-hmm. And so imagine all the restaurants and all the catering and the food services and all of that on set.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of favorite spots have closed down. And interestingly enough, it was hit the hardest, but I also think it recovered the quickest. I think it's part of the New York culture, just how strong, the community is out there, and how seriously they've taken COVID. But yeah, it is interesting with production. I was going to ask Adam, so that series, did you start production before the pandemic, or was the show produced after the pandemic? When was pre-production?
In the midst of the pandemic. We did actually in how you say it, in record time.
In record
time.
Because we began production in November.
Okay. Which year?
This year.
2020?
2020. Yeah. 5 months.
What?
13
my
episodes,
God.
5 months.
So quick.
With all the filming and all the interviews during that time, with the pandemic going on and everything closed. So,
and did you only film in Greece? Domestic? Yeah.
We couldn't.
So that just shows you, Konstantina, when things open up, you got to get your production company to move work to Greece.
Seriously. No, that's really assuring to hear. That's great. I mean, that's a very quick turnaround, and that's tricky.
In Greece, which is a bad thing, and well, maybe sometimes it's a good thing as well. Things happen every time at the last minute.
I know. Well, same here, but I don't know if that's a great thing or just me. But yeah, I know it is great. You can kind of I've heard that about production in Greece, which is great that things, if you have a good fixer, you're working with a good crew, you are able to just kind of hit the ground running. So.
Well, that's great. I'm glad that some things are moving on.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to you, Michael, about some of your prose are just incredible, by the way. I just love the way you write. It's just incredible. And, you've started, I just want to touch on this because I want to interview you specifically about this. So let's just touch on it a little bit because you have Ancient Greece Revisited, which is a show that you and Adam work on. And it seems like you release maybe once a month, you release an episode.
Yeah. We try a little bit sooner, but I mean, if you average our episodes out, they average about 3 weeks. 3 weeks on average.
Okay.
Now that I'm also doing these interviews on this podcast that we're incorporating. Hopefully, it's going to move to one episode per 2 weeks.
Well, I think it gives you the podcast you're doing on tyranny because it's just it's audio, it isn't video, and I really like that. I mean, it gives you a long form to kind of extrapolate what we're kind of getting a taste of in these 10-15 minute vignettes that you do on Ancient Greece Revisited. Because I kind of, as I listen to them, I kind of see an opportunity to expand. Interestingly enough, when I interviewed Vlas and Charlie Parlapanides, and we talked about the immortal, Blood of Zeus really gave them a chance to expand on a theme that they were trying to run on something that they had minimal control over, which is, $150 million movie, to something that they are the showrunners of, where they can take those themes and kind of really explore them over, probably 6 hours of cinema. And I think, is that why you started the show? Did you when you started looking at Ancient Greece Revisited, did you see, oh my God, there's all of these things that I can bring people on and talk about and kind of expand?
Yeah, I mean, I started as a consumer of YouTube. I was fascinated by the whole podcast scene. I would watch Joe Rogan show. I would watch another show in London when I was living there called London Real, which is like an English spin-off of, I guess, Joe Rogan. I would listen to podcasts such as Sam Harris. I would listen to Hardcore History. Dan Carling is the name of the historian. Excellent, by the way, excellent show, Hardcore History, and an inspiration. And it was amazing to see how, for all these years through television, we had missed this idea of the long format. We were, the most you would see is like perhaps 50 minutes would be a really big interview on TV, and there would be half scripted ads in the middle, canned questions. Sometimes it would get heated, sometimes, there were some excellent interviews on that format as well. But when I watched Joe Rogan, it was after these 5 minutes that it started getting interesting, and he would do sometimes 3 hours on a show, and I would catch myself watching and listening to these 3 hours. I would even time it, perhaps going to from work, 1 hour each. But I was interested. It wasn't like homework, and so I realized that, there was this space that we were missing because we're watching TV. And what YouTube and the internet in general proved is that there are people who want to listen. It's almost like two things happen at the same time. Our attention span has shortened, which is what everyone keeps on saying. People's attention is too difficult to get, which is true. It's true as well. But at the same time as our attention span, there is this space for this long format. People want to get down to the bottom of something. They have this need to get interviewing, Joe Rogan, for instance. I keep mentioning him. He has interviewed people like, Metallica, from Metallica to kind of obscure, like local comedians, and from martial artists to scientists. And people want to listen to their stories, want to listen to their childhood adventures and problems and how it led them to this path. They don't just want the quick canned questions.
Right. I want to talk to you more about that, because I think that I want to do like a one-on-one with you, because I think it kind of leads into, because I love the title of your show, On Tyranny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I love what you've done in the past, because you've done shows on really the COVID lockdown and how it related back to the Peloponnesian War. And I don't know if people realize the amount, the intellect that was lost during the plague, during that war. I mean, we lost Pericles, we lost, all of these great thinkers of the time. There were just so many people. But you know what? I want to give you guys, we're going to end the broadcast, then Michael, if you don't mind staying on with me for a few more minutes so we can talk. Sure. But I want to give you each a minute to talk about whatever you want to talk about, and just kind of tell the audience where they can go to find your stuff and so on. And we'll start with Konstantina, and then we'll go around the room.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, really quickly, I wanted to say that Plato episode about the coronavirus is really interesting for Ancient Greece Revisited. But so the Hellenic Film Society, we have this incredible event that starts March 19th. It goes through March 28th, and you can go to HellenicFilmUSA.org to learn more about it, see trailers to each of our selections, get tickets, which will be going on sale very soon. It's 8 amazing selections that show the history of Greece through film, celebrating our 200-year anniversary of Greek independence. We have some really great interviews with all those films, including Charlie and Vlas Paralipinidis for Blood of Zeus. We'll have an interview with director Zack Snyder for 300, Gavrila Koska, her film Beneath the Olive Tree, Dean Karnezis and his co-director Barney Fender for The Rise of Sparta, plus Books of Freedom, God Loves Caviar, America, many amazing films. And I hope that you all have a chance to check it out. Go to HellenicFilmUSA.org, and thanks for watching.
And hey, thank you for coming on the show. And we're going to have links down below. When you rewatch this show, you'll be able to see it. You can come back here and you'll find all the links. Michael, I want to give you a chance to talk about, where people can find On Tyranny and Ancient Greece Revisited and some of those things too.
Yeah, so you can find our work on YouTube under Ancient Greece Revisited, and we have a Facebook page under that name. We post regularly various things on Facebook. It's more generally interesting things about ancient Greece and modern Greece, and culture in general. But our YouTube is our main thing. On Tyranny is the radio show, as I call it. The episodes are embedded in the same channel, so no separate channel for now. It's all one. You find them. Just the covers are very distinct. They're like reddish orange. So you know which ones are which, and there's a playlist which is on Tyranny. If you want to listen to 12 hours straight binge, the playlist is there. And there's a Twitter page which is just devoted on that radio show. Again, on Tyranny. You can find us on Twitter as well, where we're posting the more political and perhaps more dangerous, dare I say, material. Because, and you said it, Bob, linking our situation, COVID, with the idea of a political crisis has become a little dangerous to talk about, and I want to keep it separate on Twitter because we're living through strange times, and perhaps you never know when something you say is going to be misinterpreted, and it's going to come back and bite you. But Ancient Greece Revisited YouTube, Ancient Greece Revisited Facebook, on Tyranny Twitter. It's where you'll find it.
Yeah, and I've already posted those links for Ancient Greece Revisited, and really all of the Hellenic Film Society and projects. They're already in the links both on YouTube and on Facebook, so you guys can come and find them. What isn't is, and I want to give Adam a chance to speak as well, is Adam, I would love for you to post when available on ERT the official name of the show so people can look it up, because a lot of people here in Greece do have ERT. From a lot of Greek Americans and Australians do have, and Canadians do have ERT. And so if you want to tell us what's next for you, what you're going to be working on again.
First, the Greek title of the show is 1821, η Ελληνική Επανάσταση, 1821, the Greek Revolution. And it's 13 episodes that each one is thematical. So we talk about the war, the navy, the European diplomacy, and each episode is a different subject. It will air, like I said before, on the 25th of March, and from then on, we'll play every Saturday one episode each week. Now, apart from that, and actually, the next big project I want to do with Michael is to take AGR one step further, and apart from the YouTube channel, we have to put it on the big screen, not the biggest screen, the smaller screen of the TV, anyway. In the future, maybe even in the big screen. So yeah, we want to try to see, maybe contact some producers and channels and see if we can do the show on as a TV series on different format, possibly longer than the 10-15 minutes that our episodes are now. Yeah, that's
okay. Great. I can't wait to see it like in a longer form on television.
It deserves to be.
We do have the first episode of the series, the Greek trip on LSD, with the myth of Persephone.
Sure.
We have prepared, let's say, a layout for a 1 hour documentary that we want to create and include the whole myth in it. And we have actually made a proposal in the Greek Film Guild. And hopefully, if we're lucky enough, our project will go through and we can basically get financed to create the project.
That's beautiful. Hey, can I ask you guys a favor? I'm going to say goodbye to our audience, but then we're going to go. I'd like to talk to you guys for just a couple of minutes. So let me just say goodbye to the audience and stop broadcasting, and I'll be right back, okay? So let me kind of get back here. Hey, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. I'd like to thank Konstantina and Michael and Adam and the fine work that these guys do every day, and how well they represent their communities. And if you guys can, please follow us on YouTube and like us on Facebook, and we're also on Twitch, by the way. I always forget to mention Twitch.
I know, yeah.
But we're on Twitch as well. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. And March 28th, we're going to do a big 5-hour show on Greek Independence Day. So I know Independence Day is on the 25th. We're going to do the show on the 28th. It's going to be in conjunction with the St. Basil's Greek Orthodox Church here in San Juan Capistrano. So we're going to do poems. We're going to do songs. We're going to be out there in the furno with wood, cooking food the way food should be cooked.
Yep.
Okay. And so it'll be a lot of fun. And please come back and join us. And let's just say, Kalos Zvikame!